Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Aloe Blacc performs live at the Songs for Hope concert at the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. on Monday, September 18th. The Grammy nominee joined me to discuss his beloved hits like I Need a Dollar, The Man, and his Avicii collaboration, Wake Me Up. Hey, Aloe Blacc. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in D.C.
Nice. Thank you for letting me come and talk about the show.
Of course. We're talking because you're performing at Songs for Hope at the Kennedy Center. It's going to be on Monday, September 18th, so everybody get your tickets. Now, I believe this thing is, it's honoring 6 recipients with the 2023 Surgeon General's Medallion Awardees for Health. And I think it's like folks that are, doing great work in mental health and well-being for the community, that kind of thing. So we'll list the recipients on the website. You don't have to name them all. But just in general, why isn't it an important cause for you to, throw your support behind?
When I first got involved in making music as a full-time gig, I made a promise that I would use my voice for positive social transformation. And to see the Surgeon General offering so many of our everyday heroes, some frontline folks, the people who support the frontline folks, especially during the pandemic, it gives me a sense of purpose. It's definitely something that I want to be part of. So to lend my voice and be part of a night like this where we're honoring people who've done well, hopefully it inspires others to do the same.
That is awesome. Yeah, and this isn't your first time performing in DC. I believe you came, was it Crosby, Stills and Nash year of the National Christmas Tree Lighting? I think that was that year. And then I think you did
I've done a few Christmas tree lightings, and certainly Kennedy Center honors event in the past for military personnel. And so, I, again, just like to use my voice in ways that's going to create joy and happiness and, give people an opportunity to celebrate life.
Great. We should tell everyone the other great artists that are on the bill this time with you. It's Renee Fleming, Ben Folds. The list goes on and on and on.
Joshua Henry, Jimmy
Herod. It's stacked. Ariana DeBose, Oscar winner, of course, West Side Story, and is now hosting the Tonys all the time. DeBose is awesome. I don't want her to just be remembered for the meme, the Angela Bassett did the thing, Viola Davis, my woman king. She's been playing up that, sort of self-deprecating in the recent award hostings, which I love to see. She's an awesome performer. Have you performed with any of these folks before? These are big names, but do you guys all go way back?
No, these will be new people to share the stage with for me, but really excited to see Ariana DeBose. I'm really familiar with the work that she did at Hamilton, and really excited to see Ben Folds. I've been listening to his music for a long time and interested to meet him backstage and say hello. And it's not every day you get to see a opera soprano sing. So Renee Fleming's gonna be pretty awesome as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, while we have you on here, I'd love to tell our listeners, sort of your backstory. Like, I know you're born in California in 79. Like, what all did you listen to growing up? Like, how did you get bit by the music bug?
Yeah, growing up, I was mainly into hip hop music and listening to Tribe Called Quest and De La Soul, some of the groups that were a little bit more introspective, jazzy, and fun. But as I was making hip hop music, I started sampling a lot of classical rock, classic jazz, classic soul, and I fell in love with singer-songwriters and just thought, man, I'd love to be able to use my voice to affect people's emotions in the way that they do. And that's when I started singing.
Awesome. Now, how did you've probably told the story a million times, but then how did you actually get that first record deal signed to do, Shine Through in 06, that first album? Like, how did that actually come about?
Well, I was supposed to be working on as a business consultant, but my start date got pushed back because of September 11th, 2001. So,
wow. And we're talking on September 11th today, actually. 20
yeah, it's
years. Wow.
22 years.
Feels like yesterday. It always will,
And out of that tragedy, my start date got pushed back. I got a chance to go on tour with some artists in Europe. And when I came back, they introduced me to their record label. And that record label signed me to give me an opportunity to record. But in between time, I did work for the consulting firm, but I got laid off due to a reduction of force. And it was probably the blessing in disguise. Gave me an opportunity to really focus on music.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. And weren't you also in that early period before your actual solo album? Weren't you in, how do you say, Eminon, which is no name backwards? It was like a duo.
Right. Eminem is a duo between myself and DJ Exile. I was making hip hop music with Exile. He's the great producer and DJ. And we named the group after a Dizzy Gillespie song called Eminem, which he had no name for. So he just named it Eminem.
That's great. And you competed on MTV's The Cut and all that early stuff. But then you finally get the breakthrough, like you're saying, on Shine Through. Memories of when you look back on that first album, are you still really proud of it? Or is there, after you've done what, 4 or 5 albums since, like, or do you look back and be like, I could have done this or that better? Or are you still pretty proud of it?
I'm still pretty proud of it. I think about how during that time there was no social media. So I have to use my creative ideas about how to present that body of music in today's modern world.
Well, all your fans love it, and enough too that it inspired the second one. You kept it rolling with Good Things in 2010, and of course, we all know the hit song "I Need a Dollar" off of that one. Memories. Can you remind us of how you actually wrote "I Need a Dollar"? How you came up with that?
I Need a Dollar was inspired by listening to field recordings of chain gang workers, and I started just writing my own sort of a field song. And when I got a chance to work with producers out in New York, we jammed on some soul music, and I threw these lyrics on top, and it worked. It was ended up being used as a theme song to a TV show called How to Make It in America, which made it really popular.
Right, on HBO. It ran from what, 2010 to 2011, I think. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it had 1.5 seasons.
1.5. Well, hopefully they get the writers and actor strike sorted out so we can get some more good HBO shows, because I'm hurting for content in a couple months, man. I'm not gonna have anything to review. But we stand in
Yeah, I've watched everything.
yeah, right. We stand in solidarity with everybody. Hope they get that worked out. Great. And then Rook, we have to hit the third album, Lift Your Spirit, in 2013. That was nominated at the Grammys for Best R&B album. So at this point, you're off to the races. Your career is just skyrocketing. Tell me about writing The Man. What's the backstory on how that one came to be?
The backstory on writing The Man was I had turned in an album, and the label was saying, well, we need something that got a bigger theme. And they put me in a meeting with with Dr. Dre, and I was talking to him about the music I was making, and he said, you need something that is masculine but vulnerable, sort of like what Marvin Gaye did.
Hmm.
And that was really inspiring. So I went back to the studio to write something that I felt like could have that humility, but also some bravado. And I think it worked out. It ended up being in Dr. Dre, the Beat by Dre commercials.
Oh, the Beats by Dre commercials, everybody. I mean, wait, man, what a legend that you got to work with. And maybe, you probably rubbed off on him a little too. It goes both, it's a two-way street. Your genius trades back and forth. It's not just Dre to you, it's you to Dre as well. But before we move off that album, maybe time for one more. Of course, we have to mention Avicii's, Wake Me Up, and you singing on that. And that became like a club, anthem. And of course, sadly, we lost him too soon, which kind of ties back into the mental health thing. And now that I think about it, with the Songs for Hope. But yeah, I mean, Wake Me Up, and were you surprised that it took off the way it did, or did you guys kind of know you had lightning in a bottle with it?
Yeah, I was really surprised by the way Wake Me Up took off. I always try to write the best song that I can. When I go into the studio as a collaborator, I want to bring 110%. I'm generally writing about inspiration, motivation, and this song was lyrics that I walked into the studio with. It just so happened that they had already come up with the guitar part and the chord progressions, and it was a match made in heaven. When Avicii eventually mixed all of the sonics around the acoustic version, it just sounded amazing.
Wow, yeah. And I guess you did the Christmas Funk album after that. Everyone check that out as the holidays approach. But I guess the most recent, studio, I guess fifth album was All Love Everything. Remind me, was that a pandemic release? Did that come out, or did that come out right before?
All Love Everything was a pandemic release, 2020. I didn't want to hold the album back because there was no telling how long the pandemic would last. And I thought, people definitely need to hear something that's uplifting. And so I released the album, and have a few favorite songs on there.
Which are you gotta tell us now.
I love My Way, I love Harvard, and I love My Family. I love all the songs, but I think those are some of the better the songs that I'm feeling right now.
But why? Why do you love Harvard and My Way? And I can't remember the 30 set. But why are
You
those your
know,
favorites?
Harvard is a song that helps to discuss how we're all basically the same, no matter what differences we may see on the outside. We're all going through the same kind of struggles and have the same kind of hopes and same kind of fears. My Way is a song that hopefully will inspire and motivate people to, be their best advocate and just go after their biggest dreams. And a song like My Family would hopefully help people reflect on the importance of the loved ones near to them.
Yeah, you're My Way. Take that, Sinatra. We're listening to Aloe's My Way now. Well, you've been generous with your time. I guess we should try to bring it full circle back to the Songs for Hope before we close here. So I guess the best way to kind of do that is, Avicii, Wake Me Up. We lost him, sadly to suicide. So many people deal with that. That's a mental health issue. All of Everything came out during the pandemic, and God knows the pandemic caused isolation and grief and all kinds of mental health issues as well. So no matter what kind of mental health issue we're dealing with, bring it full circle and talk about how Songs for Hope can help folks. Just close it out. Speaking once again on that of if you're feeling down, maybe this concert will bring you hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It should bring you hope. And that's the idea of music being a modality for mental health support. And this is one of the reasons why I jumped at the chance when I was invited to sing here.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see you. Again, it's Songs for Hope at the Kennedy Center. It's going to be in the concert hall at the Kennedy Center. It's going to be Monday, September 18th at 7 p.m. So everybody get your tickets now. Hey, we really, really appreciate you joining us. And I don't want to cut you off. Is there anything else you want to tease that you have coming up? Any other music projects or movies or TV project, whatever you want, now's the time. Go for it.
I have a song coming out on September 14th called Never Let You Down. It's in collaboration with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America. It's a song to hopefully amplify the great work they do, placing mentors with young people who are looking for, someone that can spend time with them and give them some hope. My next project will be songs that are inspired by nonprofit organizations in a way to amplify and magnify the great work that community activists and volunteers are doing to better their environments.
That's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I did Big Brother Big Sister one time back in the day, and I should do it again now that you say this. Thank you. Thanks for highlighting it. That's fantastic. Well, great. All right, thank you so much for joining us. Everyone, come out to the Kennedy Center on the 18th and see Aloe Blacc and Ariana DeBose and so many more. It's going to be awesome. Hey, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be on here.
All right, be well. See ya.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.